Okay, everybody, don't forget, now I told you we're going to be moving into the big assessment handout. This right here. And this is what we're going to be working with for the rest of this semester. All right? As we wrap this, I can't believe this. This one right here. And so start to peruse this. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to spend some time, well, first of all, what we're doing right now, we're going to take some of the psychology and addiction, that stuff, and one of the first things to assess, again, threats to early recovery. Those things that can, from the very start. This person, they have this little motivational window. I'm going to quit. I've had it. I'm done with this. They make an appointment. They begin a treatment program. They start going to meetings or whatever. And these things that from the very start can sidetrack and get this person back into, within hours, within days, within weeks, back out there, back using. And to be able to be aware of these and to be assessing and attending to these issues from the very start. So very important. Does this make sense? And so these are the things that from the very start you got to pay attention to with this. Now, does everybody have this? You don't have this, right? Okay, I'm going to let you, well, actually you don't need it right now because what they're going to be looking at today, that first page I got on the board. And then right after class, you're going to come to the office with me and going to get you a copy of this. Okay. All right? But, because I want to make sure that this isn't the only copy left. And I'm sure it's not, but it's that way, and then we're going to get you a copy. Gang, start to peruse this. A lot of this stuff we're not going to get to until next semester, but we are going to start this. And once we get done with this discussion, then you'll see, as you turn the pages, what's the very next thing? A major movement in substance abuse treatment this day and age. Who's heard of motivational interviewing? Motivational interviewing. And we're going to talk about that. And all of the pros and cons of motivational interviewing. One of the biggest problems with motivational interviewing, people see that as a magic wand. That all they got to do is this, and it fixes everything, and that's wrong. Motivational interviewing is not a therapeutic approach. It is a tool you use to help a client get ready for therapeutic approaches. Does that make sense? And when people see motivational interviewing as a therapeutic approach in and of itself, they start to screw things up and make mistakes. We're going to walk out of here understanding what MI is and how it works right and how to use it as a tool. And don't forget, when you misuse tools, you lose parts of your thumb. So that kind of a thing. Everybody cool with that? Let's begin with this, though, right now. And again, threats to early recovery. Some of this stuff is going to feel redundant because, well, we've been talking about this. We're going to put what we talked about in psychology and addiction now to work. All right? And the first one is withdrawal syndrome. And gang, be familiar. Now, we're going to be looking next semester as we talk about brain, neurophysiology, neuropharmacology, how drugs work in the brain, what tolerance is, what withdrawal is, how these brains change under addiction, stress, both chemical and life stress and stuff, and things like that. The number one threat to early recovery. And sometimes withdrawal isn't just exactly right away. And the thing is that you have to be aware of these different drug classes, the uppers, the downers, the all-arounders, these various drug classes, and their withdrawal syndrome. What are the signs, the symptoms? What are the treatments? How do you help a client get through withdrawal? And again, we don't have a methadone for most drugs out there. For the opiates, we got methadone. And we get a person, what is that? We get a person on. Here's their heroin habit or their opiate habit. We match that with methadone. Out goes the opiates. And then we stabilize. Some people, they stay there for a long time. Other people titrate down slowly. And we've got that. And the whole point of methadone treatment is to help people. What's the scariest thing about quitting opiates? What's the major reason why people end up relapsing on opiates early on? Is what? They're terrified of that withdrawal syndrome. They're terrified of that. It's painful. It's a special place in hell for that individual. And they know that. And they know relief is a pill, a shot away. They know that. And again, I'm just going to get through today. And then tomorrow, I'm just going to get through today. And then the next day, I'm just going to get through today. I'm going to quit tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? And that. Gang, yeah, we have methadone for that. Well, methadone is a very, very still maligned drug. You guys that did your projects on some of this stuff, it's still very much a maligned drug. Oh, you're just trading one drug for another. Methadone is one of the most statistically shown efficacious, effective, good treatments we have in all of substance abuse treatment in this world. Methadone is one of the most effective tools we have in substance abuse treatment. If we had a methadone for alcohol, if we had a methadone for cocaine, if we had a methadone for barbiturates and benzos, if we had a methadone for all those other drugs, you probably wouldn't have a class. Or at least it would be a 6-week-long seminar instead of a 2-year-long degree. It would be how to give. You see what I'm saying? Methadone. Now, methadone is not by itself. Methadone is not a magic potion or a magic cure. And yeah, it's a very, very, very. And we're going to look at this, and we're going to see how methadone works. We're going to see all this stuff works together and all this stuff. What is, just real quick, what is the number one? Methadone is just another damn, very strong, powerful narcotic. Then what's the deal? Aren't we just trading one bad drug for another? What's the major? Somebody tell me. You all should know. Huh? The half-life. That's the major difference, isn't it? Now, you know what I'm talking about with that. When I say the half-life, you know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about with that?
Less in your body.
Yes.
How long is that on the body?
In other words, somebody, they got up maybe an hour and they fix up their heroin. Guess what they're doing about 11:30, 12 o'clock today? They're chasing more heroin. Guess what they're doing about 4 o'clock today? They're chasing more heroin. Guess what they're doing at 8 o'clock tonight? They're chasing more heroin. That's all they're doing. They take that methadone at 8 o'clock this morning. They're not going to be getting dope sick. It's got that 24, 36, for some people even longer, effective half-life. Which means instead of spending all day long chasing heroin or whatever their drug is, what are they going to be doing? They're going to be going to school, going to work, raising the kids, and doing stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? And that kind of a thing, gang. And so that an example that understanding what these different drugs are. A person comes into treatment, and you think that you got them through their withdrawal syndrome, and all of a sudden they start getting very sick and very this and very that, and all of a sudden they start to, and you know what? You missed a drug, you missed a withdrawal syndrome. Sometimes one can mask another. Also, you see what I'm saying with this stuff? The number one threat to early recovery. Again, yeah, I wake up in the morning, I'm sicker than a motherfucking, I'm going to this and that, I've had it with this shit, and that lasts about, hey, I'm in recovery. I just said I'm done with this shit. 45 minutes later, guess what? I've had it with this shit. I can't do this dope thing. You see what I'm saying? A threat to early recovery, yes.
Is the withdrawal syndrome from methadone?
Yeah, methadone is a powerful narcotic. And yes, if you just quit methadone like you would heroin, yeah, you would have a serious, severe withdrawal syndrome. Yes, methadone is a powerful narcotic. It's a mu receptor agonist. And yes, it's a powerful narcotic. And so that's why once you get somebody on that matching dose, stabilize, and then if you're going to, very slow titration down, kind of a thing like that. Yes. But being aware of these different drugs and things like that. Don't forget, some of these withdrawal syndromes are not only very uncomfortable and very unpleasant, but they're deadly. Hey, gang, which is more dangerous, alcohol or heroin?
Alcohol.
By a long shot. Heroin withdrawal may make you wish you were dead for a few days. Alcohol withdrawal can kill you in a few hours. You see what I'm saying with that? Being aware of these. And yeah, the number one threat to early recovery, real early recovery, is withdrawal syndrome. And we're going to, like I said, in the spring, we're going to get well into that brain. We're going to look at this stuff, neurophysiology, neuropharmacology, how these drugs work, what tolerance is, and what withdrawal is, and all that stuff, and understand this from that perspective. What's number two? Another biggie up here. Post-acute withdrawal. And what is that, you guys? Somebody tell me, what is that? Threats to early recovery. What's post-acute withdrawal? This is the thing. That person's gotten through their dope sick. By all rights, physiologically, medically, they're done with their withdrawal syndrome. They should be feeling better that way. Time to get vigorous in your recovery and doing this. And all of a sudden, this person, they start to have some pretty serious symptoms. All kinds of free-floating anxiety. All kinds of sleep disorder. Dream disorders. Labile affect. All over the place, feelings and stuff, and don't know why. I don't know why you're so fucking that old, and all that kind of stuff like that. They don't know why they're feeling. Disorientation, concentration, and attention problems. Feel like hell. As a matter of fact, at some point, this person, they're in their recovery with this. They start to, they got done. They're no longer. We're not worried you're going to die anymore. We're not worried. It's not like your bones feel like they're on fire anymore. And that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? The withdrawal syndrome is basically done. When you're feeling, that client sometimes gets to the point that they're feeling worse than they were in their addiction. They said, this is recovery. This is what this is. I felt better when I was out there using. This is what recovery is. You see what I'm saying? Fuck this. You see what I'm saying with that? Very often, another thing, when that client, not only is this, I started going to these meetings. I went to this, I did that, I did these things, so I could feel better. I feel worse now than I ever felt. This is recovery? Fuck this. I was better off out there. Another thing is this person, listen to this. As they're experiencing this, they're wondering why. What the hell's going on here with all this? All these symptoms, all this stuff going on. What is this? And they will answer those questions. I'll tell you what this is. I did one too many. I crossed that line. I'm never going to be okay again. I'll tell you what this is. I pissed the big guy off one too many times. And this is my just rewards. You see what I'm saying? And that person, they will find an answer. Why this is happening to them. And of course, they're worse than anybody else in the whole world ever was in their experience and that. And they will find those answers. Yeah, I did one too many. Other people are going to get fine and okay from this, but I did one too many. I pissed the big guy off one too many times. This is the way it's going to be for me. And what happens to their motivation, don't forget, you guys, once again, beginning and early recovery is damn hard and scary work. It's a major thing. And you want me to work this hard and this is what I'm getting for it? You see what I'm saying? The hell with this. You want me to work this hard, and this person who believes, you know what, the reason why they're feeling so sick right now is because they did do one too many? Other people are going to be fine, but I did one too many. I got broke. I'm not going to get well. I did piss the big guy off one too many times. And this is my just rewards. I'm not going to get better. Because this is what, it's my fault. It's my fault. I see it. But you see what I'm saying? Why the hell work this hard in recovery if this is all I'm going to get anyway? If I'm going to hell, I may as well go in style. Does that make sense? That kind of a thing like that, you guys. And you need to be, and again, when we, next semester, neurophys and farm and stuff, we're going to be looking at that stuff. You need to be aware of this. And this is one of these head off at the pass. You need to know this well enough so that you can teach this to who? Let that client know this in advance. You see what I'm saying? Normalize this. When a client comes in, I'm not sleeping, I'm so fucking mad all the time, I can't even pay attention to, I don't this, I don't that, I can't concentrate, I can't, you see what I'm saying? All these things, I heard, I did all this stuff. You know, and yeah. And again, the more you can head this off at the pass, it's supposed to be withdrawal. What is it basically? It's that, you got to think about this for a minute. Your brain's real pissed off at you right now. Your body is real pissed off at you right now. You jumped into that addiction. Your brain did all the changes that we're going to see next semester, tolerance and all that stuff. And it went through all the changes it had to do to protect you from these higher and higher doses of this shit you're doing, and all the stress and everything else. And just as we finally get used to that, then you change the rules again. Your body and brain are pissed off at you right now, is what it is. And just because you did the first step and read that book and went to that meeting doesn't mean that everything inside your body is just going to magically get better overnight. It's going to take some time. Your body has to readjust to this new lifestyle. And in the process, it's not going to feel good for a while. And the more you can head this off, let this client know this is coming. Let this client understand as this is happening. This doesn't mean that you crossed some line and will never get better again, or something like that. Help them understand. You do want that this is part of this. Help it. There are. Can we symptomatically treat some of this stuff? Sure, but help that client realize this is a part of your body changing again. First you taught it how to be an addict. Now you're teaching it. And just because you went to that damn meeting don't mean tomorrow morning everything's okay with your body, any more than anything or anybody else. Gang, this is a major, major, major threat. And this isn't something we're talking about. I mean, withdrawal syndrome, we're talking about what? 48, 72 hours and things like that. Maybe, long run, everything calm down a week or so. This stuff here, this can go on for months. It can go on for a year. Some people will say even maybe a couple of years before everything clears up with this. And again, if that client, they're finding themselves in all this kind of misery and they're thinking to themselves, this I felt worse than it was when I was out there using. Fuck this, I may as well go out there and use again. Very, very dangerous. Help them understand. Yes, question.
Can you have waves of that even like later on, like 3 years in, 4 years in, like waves of post-acute, or do you think it's something different?
That you can do what with the
post-acute? You can have waves of post-acute,
yes.
like...
And under stress or health things, I'll tell you what, you guys, one of the biggest things that would help with this post-acute withdrawal are two of the major things that don't get addressed or funded in primary treatment. They don't get addressed or funded because they don't get treated like, this isn't treatment, nutrition and physical conditioning. Nutrition and physical. You realize that you're going to be working in a treatment center. Somebody's going to walk in there 300 pounds and be malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
You realize, gang, that whole system, that whole neurotransmitter system has to rebuild itself. The hepatics, that whole body. I mean, addiction isn't just a brain thing. That whole body is being damaged in this lifestyle. And that individual, don't forget, when they're out there on the streets, that heroin, that cocaine or whatever, they get $5 in their pocket. $4.50 goes for the drug. You're lucky you got enough left for what? A soda and a bag of chips. You see what I'm saying with this? That kind of a thing like that. Very nutrition, and then on top of that, physical reconditioning. And again, why don't those things get addressed and funded and done the way they should in primary treatment? It doesn't feel to the funder like this isn't a workout club. This is drug treatment. This isn't supposed to be fun. You know what I'm saying with that? And besides that, these programs, they're running on a shoestring budget. They're lucky that in residential programs especially, they got to feed them. They live there for 30 days, 6 months, a year, or whatever. Got to feed them. It's not like they're going to the fanciest food service people. No, they're running on a shoestring budget. Gang, nutrition and physical rehab are so important and can do so much too. This is going to happen anyway. That brain and body's just plain pissed off at you for a while. And again, withdrawal may be 48, 72, 96 hours or something like that. Post-acute can be a couple of years. And as your question, yes, once in a while it can sneak back a little bit. Especially under the right classical conditioning circumstances. You see what I'm saying with that kind of stuff? Now, you know what I mean by class. Everybody in here knows what I mean when I said classical conditioning circumstances, because we've talked about classical conditioning, and you understand this stuff now, right? And so you know what I mean by that. Some of those kinds of things like that. Nutrition, physical rehab. But gang, you may not have. I mean, you work at the ABC Treatment Center, and it's packed with all these. They don't have. No, you don't have a place. When I built SICTA, you guys remember SICTA down there in Sheridan, that great big facility down there, it used to be called Central Illinois Center for the Treatment of Addictions, SICTA, and that kind of a thing. And now it's the Crisis Center down there on Sheridan. Down there, and when I built that, and we built, as a matter of fact, it was in the blueprints and it was a major part of the plan. It got built, as a matter of fact. I built a workout room about this size right here. The room got built. It got time to put. It's time to go shopping. I'm gonna get some workout machines and stuff. Got that on the line item budget. No. This is a drug treatment center. This isn't vacation spa. You see what I'm saying? They didn't realize it's one of the most important fucking things they could have done. That nutrition and body rehab is more important than a whole lot of psychotherapy groups. All the psychotherapy in the world with their broken brain still ain't going to work that well. Does that make sense, you guys? You see what I'm saying with that? No. That room became a storeroom. Because I never got the stuff. I wanted to hire a nutritionist to come in and teach clients how to eat well. No! This is drug treatment. This is not how to eat good treatment. This is drug treatment. No. Got marked off. You see what I'm saying? You guys, that kind of stuff, how important that stuff is. And so that can play a role with this. But the most important thing is that you are able to explain this to your client from the very start. And let them know so they're ready for it. And make sure that you head off those, I did one too many, I'm never going to be okay. No, that's not true. It's just part of the curative process. Help them realize when they experience, and sometimes some pretty severe symptoms with this. Confusion, agitation, sleep disorders, bad dreams. Again, that labile affect from all over the place. I don't know why I'm so fucking mad all of a sudden. They don't know. And it's scaring the hell out of them. You're the person that's going to be the one that's going to help them understand this, see this, and help them work through this stuff. Does that make sense? You head off those misconceptions. No, this doesn't mean that you did one too many and you fucked up and you never... It doesn't mean that. But it means that you got to get through it. You got to know how to deal with it. So yeah, this is a serious threat. Let me hear some thoughts, questions with this. Yes?
I was a serious crybaby during my post-acute withdrawal while in recovery. Like, I cried all the time. I didn't know why.
Right.
And I'm glad that my counselor did tell me that this was normal, that you are going to experience this. You are going to have problems sleeping. Because I feel like if she wouldn't have, then I probably would have thought I was crazy and maybe relapsed.
What else that we just talked about? That person's experiencing all that stuff and everything now. And nobody did. How about psychochondria? What disease, what mental disease do I have?
Yep. Why am I so all over the place? I would say that in group therapy all the time. What the fuck is wrong with me? I can't think straight. I don't know why I'm crying all the time. I can't focus. I can't concentrate. There's something wrong with me. And then they would say, no, this is normal. This is what's supposed to happen. You know, like this happens.
That's it, you guys.
So
yeah, my brain turned to garbage. You couldn't complete a thought. You'd start sharing in a meeting, and you'd get halfway through, and you were like, I don't have a fucking clue what the hell I'm just talking about.
There you go. There you go.
And it's frustrating.
Confusion, concentration, attention, motivation. Again, energy levels. All that stuff. You see what I'm saying with this stuff? All this, and it's scaring the hell out of that person. Yes, Ann.
Yes, I went through that too. You know, sleeping, couldn't sleep, tossed and turned, didn't have no appetite, no nothing, didn't want to do anything.
See? And it wasn't withdrawal. You were done with withdrawal.
Yeah, done.
This is later on.
Yeah.
You see? Exactly. And guy, this did scare the hell out of that person. Just as you said, I wonder what the hell if somebody hadn't have been there.
Well, and I even I'll be 4 years clean in January, and I still have times where if I'm super stressed out, I can't think straight, I can't concentrate, and I know, okay, you need to take a break. Like, you need to rest because your brain is doing all this up here while you're just kind of going with emotions here, and you got to take a minute.
That's what and part of that could be, anybody's brain under enough stress. But again, guys, I'm telling you, 95% of psychology is right there.
But see, my issue, I'm a runner. So when all this stuff happens, I always dart. Like, I'm out. That's my safety. I'm run away from it and just forget like it exists, whatever. So what I'm supposed to be working on is not running and learning how to cope with not running.
Right.
So I have to stop and pause and
There's your runner right there.
Yep.
95% of all psychology is right here.
Retrain.
And you guys know what I mean by that now too, don't you? As we spent this semester together. And that kind of stuff like that. Other thoughts, questions, comments, post-acute withdrawal. Major threat, you guys.
So at a certain point, do you look at the individual and say, you're so far out of recovery, this probably is something else and not post-acute withdrawal anymore? And where do you make that judgment?
That's going to be very much an individual decision.
Okay.
That's going to be, first of all, a good question. Second, it's going to be very much your ability to have that intimate knowledge of that person to make that individualized call. Okay. Yes.
I feel like, too, it's important just to say out loud to everybody, those who haven't experienced heroin withdrawal, that you should let your client know that when they get the flu, it is going to feel a lot like withdrawal syndrome, like the early, and it is a very huge trigger. It was a huge trigger for me.
What? Classical conditioning?
Yes, when I went through when I went through my first flu after being clean for a while, I had so much trouble with wanting to use again to make it all go away.
Right.
Because the body aches and it takes you back to that hell that you never wanted to visit again. And I think if people know that ahead of time and know that that's a normal feeling, then it's okay.
And so, because see what happens is these are normal things that are happening that don't feel good. And that for that person, well, once again, psychochondria, they have to abnormalize it somehow or another. Exactly. Everybody cool with that? What we're talking about with this. Any other thoughts, questions? Post-acute withdrawal, major threat. Gang, classical conditioning, the use cue associations, the triggers, whatever you want to call them. From the very start, once again, I got to the appointment. I'm sitting here with the intake person, and I'm getting all the signing the papers and orientation and everything else. And everything's going good, and I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to do it. And then I walk back and there's the other clients, and again, I've never seen you before in my life, but there's something about you, or a mannerism, or something else. Or maybe it's that, whatever, it's that damn, whatever it may be, and the next thing you know, I'm running out that door. And then, well, they weren't serious, they were full of shit, they were just going, no, they weren't. Probably what it was the power. I mean, that can happen right then. Guys, somebody 25 or more years in recovery, and they'll tell you to this very day, the right things happen at the right time in the right way, and it's just like they're right back there again. The power of classical conditioning. And when we talked about this, everybody remembers classical conditioning now, right? And how? Look at all those examples we gave of that. Look at all those different ways. Once again, what the hell do talking geckos got to do with insurance? What do golden arches have to do with McDonald's hamburgers and all this? And gang, we are, by the time we're adolescents, let alone young adults, let alone into adulthood, and then throw in that addiction lifestyle and all that, we are walking, talking, what? Hey, running classical conditioning machines. That brain loves classical conditioning. The more things it can relegate to that and not have to think about, the better. The brain loves that. All this stuff, you guys. You're never going to get them all, but I'll tell you, one of the things, and counselors miss this, and from the very, very start, you start looking for, you start looking at, you start assessing. You're not going to get them all, and they can be real sneaky and insidious. And what seems like the most unrelated thing, and all of a sudden that person is just boiling over with emotions, or this or that, or craving, or something like that. Classical conditioning, the flu, exactly, all that kind of stuff. At least, guys, you're not going to get them all, but at least try and with each client, get the biggies. What are going to be the biggie things, the biggie use cue associations for this person from the very start? All the counseling in the world, I'll tell you what, and here it is. And I had a good day and everything else. First day, I got all this other stuff going on, and now just one little thing, and I'm out that door. You see, I'm back out there. And so, helping that client. That's why, you guys. Hey, how did it go? Remember the story? Remember that story? If only one person, if only one counselor would have one day taken, he was in treatment. He went to treatment. If only one counselor would one day had sat him down and said, this is going to happen. It doesn't mean you're an asshole, don't want to get better. What it really means is, well, actually, what it kind of really means is your brain's working pretty good, is what it means. But it's going to happen. And when it does, it could scare you a lot. And that's why we're talking about it now. So that when it does happen, that very true, unfortunate, true story. Pepsi, 7-Up, Mountain Dew. Oh shit, I'm thinking about alcohol. Wow, me and my counselor talked about this. We talked about it. I'm okay. This is exactly what my counselor was talking about. Oh, wow. My counselor was pretty damn good. He knew what he was talking about, damn it. She knew what she was talking about. This is cool. But this is what, I don't have to worry. I'm going to be okay. Talked all about it. Gang, classical conditioning. Right at the top. So very powerful. You're not going to get them all. You'd have to spend the rest of your life trying to just document for one person all of the conditioned stimuli in their life. But look for, get the biggies for that person early on. Does that make sense? And you don't know what they may be. You don't know what they may be. I think I told you the story. It was a DACT group. And as we started talking about classical conditioning in this semester, like we did, and that student she raised her hand. You know what? I get it right now because another student, like she was sitting right there, and her student had one of those great big gas station soda. What are they, like 1.5 gallons of soda in those damn things? And she said, I got to say right now, that's driving me crazy. I sit here and sweat every day. As a matter of fact, I wish you would get somewhere else. She even said it to the other student. You know, and the other student did. She said, you know what, I respect that. But what was it? For her, what was this?
She kept her booze.
This is her way of sneaking around her booze. And so she's sitting there in class, there's no booze, and there's no nothing. It's a damn stupid gas station class. That's all it took. That's all it took. Do you see what I'm saying? She was having a little, and we're going to see next semester the way that brain works. The right use cue associations can put a person in withdrawal. When you had that flu and started thinking about that shit, guess what? You had a little itty bitty, at some point you had a little itty bitty withdrawal going on too. That kind of a thing. You see what I'm saying with that, you guys? You've got to know. You've got to know this, assess this. You have to know this well enough that you can teach this also to your client. If only one person, one day would, guess what, client? This is going to happen. It's called classical conditioning. Doesn't mean you're an asshole, don't want to get better. What it really means, well, basically what it really means is your brain's working pretty good. That's what it really means. Isn't that cool? But it's going to happen. See what I'm saying with that? And so, from the very, very start, looking at that stuff. And again, what did we say about that then? If you identify some biggies with that person, hey, you're not going to get them all, you're not going to get close to all of them, but get the biggies. What are going to be the biggies for this person? Does that make sense when I say that? What are you going to do? You're going to get that on the table. You're going to talk about that. You're going to teach this person what this is in the first place so they understand this, so that when other things come along, you didn't. That's what we talked about. So that when they walk out there and they encounter a world full of use cue association, that's what we thought. Yeah, I'm cool with it. You see what I'm saying? Do you realize how powerfully good that is for that client? From the very, very start. From the very start, you start to look at this stuff, these use cue associations. And then you teach that client, teach them classical conditioning. That means you got to know it well enough that not only that you know it well enough that you can look for it yourself, but that you know this well enough you can teach it to that client so in a way that they can know it and use it also. Does that make sense? No big deal. I'm fine. We talked about this. I'm going to be fine. So you want that 7 up. You see what I'm saying with that? Guys, so wildly very important, classical conditioning. You need to know this stuff. You need to know this. I don't have time to, the next one, the fears. Guys, we've talked about this. You're afraid of success. You're your own worst enemy. I will hunt you down. I will hunt you down. I ever hear you saying something like that to a client? I will hunt you down. That client's not afraid of success. They are terrified of failure. You hear the difference in that? They're not afraid of success, but they are terrified of failure. That's what we're going to pick up next time as we continue with these assessment stuff.
I don't suppose you brought any of those papers back, did you?
Oh, but one thing I want to say, you know what? I did forget them today. It's been a crazy. But your other quizzes, everybody, I looked at everything, and every person who was up here and presented with your group, you got an A on your project. You guys did good work with this, all right? You worked together. If you were up here and you presented, you got an A on your project. So that's that. The other thing is, those quizzes and things. I'm going to get those back to you, and then we're gonna take one day and we're going to do a whole test preview. Don't forget, guys, be studying your notes and everything, because what? You're going to have that test on psychology and addiction. That's your final exam for this semester. Don't forget also, what was that other thing?
Paper.
Be working on your paper. See you guys on Wednesday.
I started mine last night.
Started yours already?